go over the last night of homework, which was Thursday. What is the value of the underlying number? Remember, each one of these numbers has a value. That one does not represent just one. It represents 1,000 because it's in the thousands place. So that 8 is in the tens place. So 8 tens would be 80. And then the 4 is in the hundreds place. And the way you can show your work on this is by drawing ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. But definitely make sure you remember that each of these numbers has a value. All right, the next one says, at Carrie's party, she has 8 ounces of juice for each of her 6 friends. How much juice does Carrie have altogether? All right, so it is asking you all together, but you need to remember it's asking about 8 ounces of juice for each. There's a key word in there. Each helps us remember that normally we're going to be multiplying, but she has to multiply all of it together. So that's why it says all together. Don't get caught up on just thinking that one word means that it has to be adding, or one word means it has to be multiplying. You really have to read the whole story. That's why I've told you to take out the number sometimes and just look at the story itself. If you have ounces of juice and you have 6 friends, you have to divide it out. So you can either draw a picture and every friend gets a, let's pretend these are the same size. Okay. Because there's 6 friends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's 8 ounces in each one. So if you know 8 plus 8 is 16, then you know this 8 plus 8 is 16, and this one is 16. And then you can add 16 plus 16 plus 16. 6 times 3? 18. Carry the 1. You have 4. So that's 48. So if you also have that memorized, 6 times 8 is 48. So that's how you could show your work. There's a bunch of other ways. If you need help, let me know. All right, so 28 divided by 7. This is one of those things where you have to remember your times tables. 7 times what equals 28? It's 4. And again, with multiplication and division, if you need any extra help, just have your parents let me know and I'll help you out. I can FaceTime, I can do whatever you need. All right, so 24 divided by 8 equals what? 3. And remember, if you remember the 11 and you ever see a double, a lot of times 11 will be a factor to the problem. And then 36 divided by 12 is 3, okay? So I just did that out of memorization, but if you don't have that memorized, then you need to be showing me on the back of the paper or on a different piece of paper to really prove and show your work, because you're always going to be asked to show your work. All right, so the next problem is fill in the missing number. All right, what's the rule whenever the numerator and the denominator are the same? If they're both 3, if it's 3 over 3, then it's 1 whole. Don't get tricked and think it's 3 wholes, because it's still only making 1. If you have 3 slices of pizza and you eat all 3 of them, you ate the whole pizza. Okay, you didn't eat 3 pizzas, you ate 1. All right, and then we're looking down here, this is an improper fraction because 4 is normally it would be on top, but the 8 is on top. So when you have 8 over 4, you can do this a few different ways. If you know that 4, how many times does 4 go into 8? It goes in there 2 times. But you can also draw yourself a picture. And remember, this is a good time for a number line. So if you have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 6/4. I didn't draw a big enough number line. 7/4 and 8/4. Okay, if you have all of those, how many do you get how many do you have to pass until you get to 1 whole? We know that 1 whole is going to be 4/4. So that's 1. So that means that 1, 2, 3, oh. And then I didn't draw enough of this one that you can see. 4, okay? 4/4 equals 1 whole. So that means 4 plus 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4 equals another whole. So how many wholes do we have? 2. So the answer is 2. I know that can be kind of tricky, and don't worry about this one. We haven't done a lot of practice with this one. If there's a way, parents, that you want to teach your kids this way, one of the ways we teach them is by looking at how many fourths you have. So if you have 1/4, 2/4, 3, and we're trying to just kind of show them a picture here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you have 8 of them and you add them all together, and we remember our rule that we don't change our denominator, we just change our numerator. So 1/4 plus 1/4 plus another fourth. This is just another way. Don't feel like you need to show all these ways. And if this is confusing, please just talk to me and I'll help better explain. So then we just count our numerators. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That equals 8/4. This is also a whole and a whole, so it's 2. All right, moving on to the next one. This is just like yesterday's problem. You're comparing. So if you have 4/6 and 4/12, you can draw a picture, but this can get confusing. I'm going to show you anyways. It can. So on this one, what's the denominator? 6. So we have to make sure there's 6 sections. And to make 6 sections, we don't draw 6 lines. We draw 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And over here, we're making 12 sections, so we draw 11 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's hard to make them the same. But if I shaded 4 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I shaded 4 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like this one is a greater fraction. So we would make the greater than sign on this way. And the way we can check that is by doing 4 times 6. That's 24. And then 12 times 4. If you don't remember how to do that, you can do the jelly bean over here. Okay, it's 8. 48, okay? So 48 is greater than 24. 4/6 is greater than 4/12. And the thing that you should always remember is the smaller the denominator, the bigger the slice is. Okay? The bigger the piece you get, the bigger the fraction there is. Alright, so our last problem, Judith and Jonathan had to read for homework tonight. Judith read half an hour, and Jonathan read 1/6 of an hour. Who read longer? Again, just because the 6 is greater does not mean that Jonathan read more. You have to look at, if it's a smaller fraction, it's a greater piece. Okay, so that means that Judith read more. And because her shading, there's more of her shaded in as well if you have a picture to help. So you would circle Judith for that. All right, that's the homework. I'll be getting around to a read aloud a little later. You guys have a great Friday, and make sure you get outside and get some warmth. All right, bye.